I was outside a bar in New York City.
New York City.
And my phone was stolen out from my hands.
Stolen out from your hands.
I was
within 3 minutes.
Locked out of my own Apple ID. And within 24 hours, I noticed that there were thousands of dollars being taken out of my bank account.
People have been reaching out to me with...
Hey, Juliana Stern. How you doing? I just want to go back, though. So the lady said that her iPhone was stolen out of her hands, and within minutes, her bank accounts are being drained. She's leaving out some context to how this all happened. Undirected team. We got another one. This one's going to be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to getting into this show. This one actually is close to home. The criminal involved, as you've seen in the thumbnail, does an interview where he explains how he ended up in prison for about 3/4 of a decade, but he'll probably get out on good time, especially since he did this interview. And how he was able to take to his account millions of dollars, although they're saying it was closer to hundreds of thousands of dollars from victims that had their iPhones taken from him. And that's going to be really interesting. We're going to start with this section, though, where we're looking at this woman that explains something similar, which will then segue into going into the story with him. And then also, in between, I got a special surprise for you, so be looking forward to that. If you can be so kind, the big four is always appreciated. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and link down below if you want to support. I got 3 links in there. If you want to support in any way, it's much appreciated. We are a team, and you're only as good as the person on your left and your right, and we're going to get better together. So let's get into this. It's going to be exciting, y'all.
Stories like this lately. Their iPhones are stolen, and all the protections and security they thought they had didn't matter. Bank accounts emptied, credit cards opened, no more access to photos, contacts, and anything in their iCloud. Their digital lives, gone. How?
That sucks, getting your iCloud compromised and taken over. Because one thing I'll tell you about Apple is that they're going to take a lot of shots at Apple. And I'm going to fight back against a lot of the things that they're saying as far as Apple security, because I think it's one of the best, if not the best in the world. Because what Apple does, and I'm just going to break it down real quick, and we might go a little bit more into it as the video goes on. But Apple doesn't store anything on their actual phones. Everything is stored on their servers. So the only way that you can actually break into an iPhone is to break into Apple's servers. If you can't do that, you can't break into an iPhone. That's why they're basically, unless you give away your password or have your password compromised by your own volition, it's nearly impossible to break into an iPhone. Now, back in the day, there used to be what was called a brute force attack, I believe is the term. If I'm wrong, let me know. But you can connect it to software where it'll just basically run every single possible password combination on your phone until it's able to pick the correct one. So if you have a 4-digit password, I think there's somewhere around 10,000 different combinations of passwords that there can be. And with that, with a brute force, it'll just run through all of them until it gets it. Then it can get into your phone. But that doesn't work with the iPhone, because if you attempt the password more than, I think it's usually like 5 or 6 times, then it'll make you wait 1 minute, then 5 minutes. And if you keep on doing that, by the time you get to like 10 attempts, it'll just disable your phone altogether. And you won't be able to use it, and you'll have to use other methods to get in other than your password. So Apple's very secure, and I think that they're just not taking accountability for their own decisions. But let's get into it.
It all leads back to the theft of the iPhone's passcode. It turns out that code that can unlock your phone can also help someone else unlock your entire digital life.
You lose your phone, you don't think about how you can lose everything else. I'm a good Apple customer. I back everything up to iCloud, and I thought I would come back home, log in on my MacBook, and everything just would be fine. That's not.
See, that's one of the problems I'm just going to start with. Saying that you're a good, loyal Apple customer is not a flex. Apple doesn't give a damn about you. In a way they do, because they're so secure that you can't even get into your own account if you forget your credentials or if you lose them, which is kind of crazy, and they will not let you in. So they treat everybody equal, and that's what I like about Apple is nobody's above the law. They won't even let police get into people's phones most of the time. Like, they put themselves in a position where it's like, hey, look, if you get locked out of your phone, you lose all your credentials, we can't determine who's the criminal here. So you're just done for. And that is kind of that's kind of unfortunate because you can end up being a victim of how secure that they actually are. But now you're taking shots at them saying that they're not secure enough. So you can't have it both ways. And that's what I don't like about the approach that they're taking. Also, I want to say this. Having everything backed up on the cloud is a mistake. There's something, actually, I'll show you. I got it right here. There's something right here that's called a hard drive, right? This is a Samsung, I think is it a T2? It's a T7. Samsung T7 Touch. With this, I can back up all of my photos, documents, music, just everything can go on there. I don't need Apple to get into that. That's a physical drive that is not attached to anything. So I back my things up in the same way. Now, the chances, unless somebody has a gun in my head and they say, give me your password to your hard drive, which I just give it to them at that point because, like, I don't have anything in there that is worth dying for or anything like that. But that's the only way they'd be able to get my password. You wouldn't be able to just swindle me out of it like, hey, put your password in. And I'm just going to be like, you're standing over my shoulder and put my password in. Now you got access to my hard drive. Like, that's insane. You'd have to physically make me do it. And, you know, if you do that, then it's a whole different situation. But in this case, that's not what's happening. So I say all that to say, never just trust Apple to keep your stuff safe. Use an actual physical hard drive if you have things that you want to keep safe, and don't just trust Apple, because if you lose your password, then you're screwed, and that's what this proves.
It's not what happened. Once you take over someone's Apple ID, it's game over for them.
After months of reporting, I've been able to break down how these attacks are happening and how you can better protect
Didn't really
yourself.
take months.
At least until better protections exist.
Like what?
At a bar at night. That's where many of these stories begin.
At a bar at night. That's where many of these stories. Just starting out with those two lines, at a bar at night, just tells you what you need to know.
Again.
I was distracted. And
Distracted.
the phone was gone. He was next to.
Distracted from what? These people just be like leaving out a lot of details. You were distracted how? I want to know more about that. Don't move on from that. How did you get distracted? What was going on? Did he offer you a line of coca? You know, did he give you $100 bill rolled up and say, hey, I got the best stuff in town? And then you're over there doing this. Oh, it's so good. Oh. And it's kicking in. And he's over there compromising your phone. Like, what's going on?
He grabbed the phone and disappeared.
Rayon Ayas's story.
He grabbed the phone and disappeared. So now Houdini took your phone. Houdini got your phone?
is similar to many others in New York and around the country, but it's 1,300 miles away from New York that they've.
And lady, he only took your phone because he had your password. If he didn't have your password, he wouldn't have took your phone because it's worthless without the password. We just spoke about this. He's not going to be able to get into your phone unless he has your password. So he's not taking a brick. I mean, it's only worth the parts. They can use like the glass, maybe the battery if they, like it's not worth anything without the password. Apple is very secure.
Pin down what's happening.
More secure than
Investigators say
Android.
thieves work together to steal phones, then use apps to take hundreds of thousands of dollars.
In Minneapolis, 12 people have been charged in a phone robbery ring, where nearly $300,000 had been taken from at least.
Damn, they had a lot of money in their accounts. 40 people totaling nearly $300,000. That's a pretty big average.
To 40 victims. This is the arrest warrant for one of the people accused in that scheme.
Alfonso Jamal Stuckey, born in 1999. He was 25 years old. Oh, he's on the east side of St. Paul. All right. Maximum sentence 20 years. He'll get way less than that, I'm pretty sure. Charge, racketeering enterprise, employed, associate, participant. All right, well, he got caught.
It says the group targeted bargoers, often by befriending them, and then transferred large sums of money via various financial apps on the stolen phones.
You out at the bar late at night. You're letting random people approach you because you just need social interaction, and these people don't care about you. And then you end up getting robbed digitally.
So I tracked down Sergeant Robert Oleshko,
Hello, this is Rob.
the lead investigator on the case,
Oleshko.
to find out more about how these thieves got into the phones.
The thieves will spend some time watching these potential victims enter their passcodes into the phone. Some suspects will act in a coordinated group. There'll be one suspect who might be recording over the shoulder of the victim, actually obtaining the victim entering.
Awareness slider on 0. Hey guys, if there's someone over my shoulder recording, I'm gonna notice them most of the time. Unless I'm hella drunk and not paying attention to my surroundings, or I'm high, or I'm off oxy, or I'm leaning off a cup of lean, and I'm just like, oh, like, I mean, yeah, then it's probably possible, but I mean, nobody made you get drunk and put yourself in those situations. By the way, I did meet the sergeant. I met him at an event. I mean, I didn't meet him I kind of met him I just shook his hand, thanked him for his service and stuff like that.
Passcode.
Do you think there's a chance you put in your passcode that night?
Potentially, yeah. And that's why the entirety of Apple security cannot hinge on those 6 digits.
Similar crimes have been reported in Austin, Denver, Boston, and London.
They're going to hinder on those 6 digits, and the reason why is because you want it the same way in reverse. Like, you want to be able to have this ease of access to your phone, but when a criminal gets a hold of it, then it's a different issue. But you gave the criminal your passcode. That's all you needed to not do. Your passcode's safe as long as it's in your head, or you're not putting it. You remember when Kanye West, y'all should, I don't know if y'all remember this, but if you don't, Google it. It's really funny. So Kanye West was in the Oval Office. This was in Trump was the president, and he was, campaigning, wearing the Make America Great Again hats and all that stuff with Trump, or it might even been before he got elected. But either way, just Google Kanye West password. It'll pop right up. He puts his password in front of all the media at Trump's desk for everybody to see, and his password is 00000. It's 4 zeros. That was back when they had the 4-digit passcode by default on iPhones. And everybody in the world seen his passcode. He did it right there, and I don't know if he was under the influence, but I mean, he's got billions in his phone. You get a hold of Kanye's phone and his password, well, you're going to be out the country living well.
And in New York, Rayhan is amongst hundreds of victims, according to people familiar with the investigations. Some victims in those cities say they believe they were drugged before their phone was taken.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Drugging people taking their phone is just crazy. Like, it's one thing to, just be able to talk somebody into getting their passcode. Like, we had the last video where people were getting scammed by people in a whole nother country just by calling them on the phone and getting them to give them their one-time password and give them access to their bank account. When you get to drugging people, putting guns to people's heads, threatening their families and stuff, I mean, there's really nothing you can do to prevent that. That could happen to anybody. So, but what's happening, like, as far as what I'm hearing, like that woman that she just said, like, allowing somebody to watch you put in your passcode, I mean, that's just foolishness. So, but if they drugged her and all that type of stuff, I mean, that's not funny at all. There's nothing to joke about as far as that goes.
When I reached out to Apple for comment, here's what they said. We sympathize with users who have had this experience, and we take all attacks on our users very seriously, no matter how rare. The thefts described are uncommon and require multiple physical steps. Stealing a user's device is not enough.
Exactly. If I was to just have an iPhone and lock it up, have my 6-digit password in there, assuming it's not 1 2 3 4 5 6 or all zeros or 1 2 1 2 1 2. If my password is 9 5 3 6 2 8 0, and I just leave it on a park bench, I guarantee no one's getting into that phone at all, ever. It's not gonna happen. So that's why they're saying that, and they can't appease to these few people that want to be out and let people get their password because they're irresponsible, and then punish everybody else that is responsible and make it way more difficult for them. Because at some point you want to have ease of use too. So they can make it damn near impossible to get in your phone, but do you really want to deal with that when you use your phone all the time? There's a median. You just cannot be reckless with allowing your password to get out because you want to be at the bar drunk in the middle of the night.
We will continue to advance the protections to help keep user accounts secure. But can an iPhone
And there's
passcode
only a certain amount.
really unlock your entire financial and personal life? Let's pretend this is Rayhan's iPhone 13 Pro Max, and the thieves observed the passcode. In every story I've heard, the thieves' very first step was to change the Apple ID password to lock the owners out. This way, they could turn off
See, now I'm going to agree with this. I don't like this part of it. And I think Apple is wrong for this, or, this is somewhat of an exploit. Because if you have the password to their phone, so the password to their phone, let's just call it 123 654, and that's their passcode. You should not be able to use their phone with that password to be able to change their Apple ID password. That's crazy. The only way you should be able to change their Apple ID password is to have the Apple ID password to begin with. And that's what it is with changing most passwords. You need the original password to change it, or you have to have access to, your cell phone so they can, some other way to verify you, or your email or something like that. But yeah, I don't like that. That's crazy.
in my iPhone. So the phone couldn't.
Those are two separate things. The Apple ID password and the cell phone password are two separate things. You should not be able to change both with one.
Located. You realize your phone has been stolen.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do next at the bar?
I log in to find my iPhone on my friend's phone right away. I wasn't able to do that because in the 3 minutes that had passed, my Apple ID password, which I'm absolutely sure of, by the way, was changed.
To change the Apple ID password on an iPhone, all someone has to do is go to Settings, tap the iCloud name, then Password and Security, and change password. Then you're prompted for, yes, the iPhone's passcode. Input it and you can create a new passcode for the Apple ID.
Yeah, that's a security exploit. I agree with that. You shouldn't be able to change your Apple ID password with your normal password. I think we're going to move on from this one, and we're going to go into another part that's going to be kind of more fun to watch, I guess, in a way. And it'll actually show how people had their iPhone stolen in less conventional ways and without getting the password. And these people are just a little more just like their awareness sliders are just like at like 0 to 5 rather than being up higher in the, 90s. Like they just have no idea what the hell's going on. They get their phone stolen. But let's check these out real quick. And then we will get into the main part of the story where we visit the guy in prison. But for now, let's watch this one.
Watch me get my iPhone stolen in London.
Damn. You see what's happening right here? I'll see if I'm gonna let it play.
And there it's gone.
Wow. Got him. Got her. Got her. Got hers. Both
Watch
of them.
me.
So this guy right here, I don't know if he's posing as a server or a waiter at this cafe or bar. It looks like a cafe or restaurant. She's got her phone on the desk and he walks up to them. This is a sleight of hand type situation where it looks like he walks up to them.
Get my iPhone stolen.
And he takes their attention off of what they're doing at the time. So you see the other girl turns, looks up at him. The other girl, her attention's gone, no longer on her belongings and different things like that. He gets into their personal space, which is usually a red flag, especially with women. I'm usually surprised, but he wasn't probably trying to like talk to them, like get their number. If he'd approached them like, "Hey, you're beautiful," they would have been immediately like, "Hey, what?" But maybe he approached him on something else. But he's got this paper in his hand, and with that, he's able to put it over the phone, scoop it up, and then disappear with the phone
In
afterwards.
London.
So you see right here. Her phone's right there next to her. Now, this is where he's doing. He's got these fingers, got 2 fingers holding the paper. These fingers are going to scoop up the phone under the paper, grapple it, and then that was it.
And there it's gone.
And he's out of there. And she goes right back to eating her ramen. But he doesn't have her passcode, so assuming her phone wasn't already unlocked, which he won't be able to do much with her phone, even if it is unlocked. If it ever locks up, he won't be able to get back into it. And then also, a lot of those apps within her phone, unless it's maybe like in my phone, you have to actually, to go into almost every app in my phone, you have to re-enter a password. I got an Android, so it's a little bit different, but yeah, that was kind of interesting. We got another one. Let's check this one out, where it's a similar case.
My phone was stolen in London by a woman who pretended to have a speaking disability.
Same thing, you see her put the paper down. This one's way more invasive. Woman-on-woman crime. She's talking to her, distracting her, asking a whole bunch of questions. She already got her phone.
Now my stolen iPhone is embarking.
Wow.
Guess where it's going.
Check this one out one more time.
My phone was stolen in London by a woman who pretended to have a speaking disability.
That right there is like enough to just tell you, like, if you got to jump back like this, like, why you all up on me, bro? Like, and it's kind of weird because we're really attached to our phones. I don't know if, like, depending on the age of who's watching this, you might remember when cell phones first started to become, this is probably around the Razr, the Nokia, the BlackBerry phones, where we didn't really have our phones attached to us like all times. Like they weren't necessarily smartphones at that time. And we would just leave our phones in our car. Like we really didn't care. But nowadays, like you oftentimes have your phone. Like if you don't know where your phone's at for more than a few minutes, you usually like starting to panic. Like, where's my phone? I gotta find it. You tapping your watch, trying to locate it and stuff. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. You could be away from your phone for a long time and usually just leave it in the car because most people called you on a house phone. But, in this situation, and then also like where she's sitting, usually you got your phone propped up, like, you sitting there, you watching a video on your phone, whatever the case is. But she was able to get all into her space and take her phone. That's crazy. Yeah. got out of there.
Now my stolen
So that was kind of crazy. And then she was able to, but see, that's the other thing. Now, if you look at this situation, she's able to log in to find my iPhone and then track her iPhone, because this proves that iPhones are actually safe when you don't allow somebody to get your password, because she has no way to get into her phone. And you can't even, the iPhone won't even allow you to turn the phone off. If you don't have the password, you can't even turn it off. You can't take the battery out, because now it's not like where you could used to be able to they had the removable battery. So if you don't have the password to an iPhone, you can't even turn it off, which is crazy. I'm actually wondering, does Android do that? Let me try real quick. I'm going to try this real quick. I just want to know. I don't even think Android lets you do that. I know iPhone doesn't for sure. So my phone is locked up. My phone's locked up. And let me hit the power off. Yeah, look at that. I just hit power off. Now let me show y'all real quick. They won't even, this is on Android too. So hold on. So look, see this? Phone's locked up. Phone's locked up. I can hit where's it at? Right here. Look, see it right here? I'm gonna tap which one is it? Yeah, right here. Dang, I messed up. I took too long. All right, hold on. Look, I'm gonna tap the power off. It's hard to do it when I'm looking at the camera like this. Everything's backwards. All right, look. Tap power off. Asking for my password and my fingerprint. You can't even turn the phone off. So if a Steve steals my phone, he can't even turn it off. He's gonna have to destroy the phone, or there's nothing he can do. Like, so I'll be able to log in somewhere else and get in. As long as they don't have my password, like, my phone is really protected. So I don't know. Anyways, that kind of proves that. This one's actually kind of crazy. Kind of unrelated, but check this dude out. I turned the music off. They got some music playing. He goes into the Apple store and just gets to snatching phones in a Pooh Shiesty mask. He don't even got a bat. He's stuffing them in his pants. This is crazy. I don't know if he wasn't prepared or not, but he don't even got a backpack or a pillowcase to even shove him in. Look how unhinged this dude is. He don't give a damn about nothing. And check my man. Hold on, I got to pause real quick. Check my man out right there. He's just chilling. I don't know if this is his first time dealing. He works there. He's wearing an Apple shirt, and he's not even afraid. Like, are we so used to criminals and crimes that we're not even afraid? I mean, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near this guy. Not that I'd be afraid of him as far as his physical stature or anything like that. He doesn't look like a threat to me physically. If anything, equal. But, you know, he could have a gun or a knife or anything like that. So you got to be careful of that part. I wouldn't be afraid of him just attacking me just with his bare hands. But look at him. But dude's just chilling, man. He probably could take him. I ain't gonna lie. If this little mini dude attacked dude, he probably would take him down. So he's just snatching display models. I don't even think display models work correctly. If I'm not mistaken, display models are stuck in display mode, so you can't even use them. He's got a whole bunch of like half operating phones. Look at the girl in the background though. She approached him calling on the phone. And who's the person recording them? They're all up on him. He just shoved him in his pants. This is crazy. It's the first time he ain't sagged in his life. He had to pull his pants up in this situation. Look at his legs, man. Yo, and why is there a cop car right there with no cop in it? He's double parked by a hydrant. And he walks out. The dude recording him don't give a damn. Oh, that's California. I just seen the plate. Makes sense. He just hops into his car and he's out of there. So that's kind of funny. But still dangerous nonetheless, because anybody that'll do something like that, you can't trust their actions. All right. Well, we're about to get into the main part of the story, what we've all been waiting for and looking forward to it. So let's check it out. Do I got a sound for this? I don't really got a sound for it. What is it? I don't think that works. We got to work on our sounds, team. Anyways, let's get into it. Main event. This guy right here that we spoke about early on, Minnesota native, locked up in a Minnesota correctional facility. Do we call him a mastermind? Well, let's see what he's got. He could be a mastermind or he could just be an opportunist. Let's find out.
Devil. It could be God sometimes, or it could be the devil. I'm here because I got too carried away, and sometimes when you do that, you end up places like this.
Yeah.
Aaron Johnson is due to spend the next several years at this high security prison.
Damn, several
because he stole
years.
hundreds of iPhones.
Hundreds.
And from them, hundreds of thousands of dollars. He exploited a vulnerability in Apple's software, the same vulnerability I've been investigating for the last year.
He grabbed the phone and disappeared.
Along with others, Johnson,
We've seen
seen
her.
here in red, would target people in and around bars in Minneapolis to get
In and around bars in Minneapolis. Look at how he's dressed. This is not a guy you should be trusting coming up to you, leaning on you. Look at him. Hoodie on. I think that guy Woodham's, that's his accomplice right there, maybe.
Along with others, Johnson, seen here in red, would target people in and around bars in Minneapolis to get their phones and their passcodes.
I just
Look at how he just leans on people. He just going up, just putting his arm around people. Man, if that dude touched me, I'll slap.
watch him put it in.
How many numbers?
6. Rarely I get 4 digits.
Yeah, that just shows you the timeline of when he's been doing this. I don't know when they got rid of the 4 digits completely, but I would say probably around 2018 or 19, they stopped using the 4-digit passcode by default, and it went to the 6-digit passcode by default, which makes it a little more secure, harder to guess, less susceptible to brute force attacks.
In cities across the country, thieves are using the iPhone passcode to get into stolen phones and loot their victims' bank accounts and money apps, and lock them out of their Apple accounts, sometimes for good. Following our investigation into these widespread crimes, Apple created new security software.
Juliana
You
Stern.
have to turn on the stolen device protection setting. And even then, some loopholes remain. The biggest loophole? You.
There you
That's why
go.
I
It's
sat
about
down
time
with
you said
Johnson
that.
to learn how he tricked victims and turned Apple's security vulnerability into a lucrative business. How did you get involved with stealing phones?
So at first I just started pickpocketing phones. I didn't get the passcode or nothing. I just got the phone.
And he learned soon that after you just take the phone, they're worth nothing. The only thing you can do is sell it to a reseller, not a reseller, like a person that fixes iPhones, because they can use like the glass on it, possibly take the battery out, maybe like some of the cameras, different things like that. But as far as using it as a functional phone or being able to access the phone, you can't do anything with it, just taking the phone. So it just tells you that Apple's phones are very, very secure.
I was homeless. I didn't have nothing. Started having kids and...
What did he just say?
The passcode or nothing. I just got the phone. I was homeless. I didn't have nothing. Started having kids and...
I want to know who you're having kids by. What women are allowing this man to get them pregnant? Oh, homeless. That's fine. You can be homeless and come back. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But why are you allowing this man to get you pregnant? And knowing that he can't help you take care of your kids. He can't even take care of himself.
needed money, so I couldn't really find a job.
Let's say it's Friday.
You couldn't find a job. You might not be able to find a job now because you're going to get out of prison as a convicted felon. Now, you might have had priors before this, already been in prison. They didn't really explain your criminal history before this, but there are plenty of jobs out there. Now, I will be honest. They might not be the best jobs, and they're probably not the jobs you want, but you can get a job. And I can name plenty of jobs that are easily accessible for most people to get. I mean, this guy's perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with him. As far as physically, maybe, mentally there is, but physically he's perfectly fine. So there's plenty of jobs out there for you, man. That's cap.
Night. We meet at a bar. I have an iPhone 15
I probably
Pro
wouldn't
Max.
want to do the jobs
What
either.
happens?
I say I have the drugs. They say they want the drugs. And I tell them, take my information down. The whole time I don't have any drugs, so.
I know what people are going to say. They're going to say this guy's a crook, a criminal, a scammer. But what about the people that he's getting over on? He's not finding good people to scam. He's finding people that are out here looking for illegal drugs. Those are his victims. People that are doing illegal things to begin with. You're not supposed to have drugs. And he comes up to you and says he has drugs. You say, oh, I want your drugs. I'll buy your illegal drugs. He says, well, hey, I got you. Put my number in your phone. Let me get your phone. Let me put my number in there. And then now he's got your phone in his hand. Or you pull your phone out. He's watching you put your passcode in. This all starts from you doing something you're not supposed to do. Prevention is the best key. If you were never trying to get illegal drugs, then you probably wouldn't have your iPhone taken and have all of your money depleted out of your accounts.
As soon as the phone's in my hand, I just ask them what's the code, or I watch them put it in before
Yeah, you put your phone in the drug dealer's hands like this guy, and here you go.
they give it to me. And then I kind of just talk about other things.
Is there an age of person you're looking for when you're out?
College, because they're more partying and they're already drunk and don't know what's going on for real.
I interviewed a number of Johnson's
He's
victims. All men under 30.
All men under 30. Come on, brothers. Come on, brothers. What's going on with y'all? These guys look like drug addicts. Can't judge a book by its cover.
I was approached by two men who seemed very ecstatic.
Some told me Johnson approached them offering drugs.
I definitely had cocaine. They were like, "Do you want to buy some?" And I was like, "No."
Others told
Liar. I can't stand these lying people, man. He's like, okay, you want to buy some? No. Then how did he get your iPhone? Password. How? How did he steal your iPhone and get your password? If he said he's got drugs, sold you a bag of a white powdery substance that was probably just sugar or flour, but he said it was cocaine, and then you just said no, and that was the end of the conversation. How do you end up getting your phone stolen and him having your password? You're a liar. You are a liar. Look at this man's face right here on the left and understand what a liar looks like. They come in unassuming forms. You would think this guy's just a nerd gamer, deprived of sex, can't get women, but he's actually just a liar. That's what he is. He's lying on camera. Why would you even get on camera just to lie? You're not trying to help anybody, man. Disgusting.
told me Johnson would say he was a rapper and wanted to add them on Snapchat.
Just a Snapchat, like that just seems normal. When I open up the phone,
Yeah.
and I hand it to him to put in.
I lock the phone.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Hold on, let me go back. I mess with this guy right here. He's the only one that is actually like
Snapchat, like that just seems.
Ryan is the only one that I'm messing with right now. He's seen a guy, he thinks he's cool. He says he's a rapper. SoundCloud rapper. He's like, hey, I'll invite you to a show. You know, take my Snapchat down. I'll be doing cool stuff. You know, maybe you can come through the studio, hang out with us, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is more of what a college student I would expect from a good college student. Like, I am not faulting him. He's just a good kid, gullible. That's fine. He's not out trying to get drugs from this guy. He just thinks he's a cool rapper. Sees a guy, he's like, man, he's older. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. He probably got a couple fake chains on. And he just wants to go to the show and party. Like, Ryan, you're good with me, man. I mess with you, Ryan. He got over on you, but, you know, we'll start a GoFundMe for you to get your money back. Those other two dudes, though, absolutely not. You're good, Ryan.
When I open up the phone and I hand it to him to put in.
I lock the phone, and then I tell him that it's
You shouldn't have
locked.
got Ryan, bro.
There's something wrong with your phone. It locked on me. And then that's when okay, no problem. 266 is for something, or they just do it for me.
You ever videotape them?
Yeah, videotaped a lot of numbers.
Never did this. People say, hey, you took my phone?
Yeah, but by that time, it's already, I don't have it no more. So,
Who has it?
Whoever I pass it to.
This wasn't a one-man job. A police investigation alleged that Johnson worked with others. According to his arrest warrant, he...
Let me see. I want to go back and look at this real quick.
worked with others.
Okay, what do we got? Let's just glance through this real fast. Spedit package shipped. Contained 26 Apple iPhones, 2 Apple MacBook Airs, 1 Apple MacBook Pro, 3 iPad Pros. Package states from a theft from a gay 90s located. Oh, shoot, gay 90s. So he was like over there. Wow, I ain't even going to get into that. Analyzing 60 cases. Aaron Johnson steals phones through trickery and violence. I do not like the violence part. You can't just be like, you're going to commit a crime. The least you could do is not kill people like that or hurt them or like, I mean, that's just going too far. Committing crimes is awful on all levels. You just shouldn't commit crimes at all. When you're talking about violent crime, I mean, that just takes it to a whole nother level. If you can call somebody on the phone from West Africa and talk them into giving you their password over the phone, that's different than, you know, catching an old lady outside and beating her up. And, you know, that's sick. Like, you should be in prison for the rest of your life doing stuff like that. Commits phones, been stolen, other defendant. Girlfriend, sister receives stolen money through Venmo. Damn, there's a lot of these people in here. Frequently see stolen phones. All right, well.
According to his arrest warrant, he used trickery and violence to get the phones. Johnson, who's now 26,
that's not good, man.
pled guilty to racketeering and was sentenced to 94 months in prison. You've got the phone, you've got the passcode. What do you do?
How long is 94 months? Let's see, 12. A little under 8 years? I think that's a little under 8 years. 94 months, a little under 8 years.
Next.
It's kind of like a bank robbery. You gotta be quick. You gotta go to the settings and go to iCloud, click reset password, and put the 6-digit code in and make my own password. And then I turn on Find My iPhone. And then that completely locks them out the phone.
This was the bit that was so crazy to me when I first started reporting on this crime. With just the passcode to an iPhone, a thief can change someone's Apple ID password and do a host of other things to your account and phone. How fast were you changing Apple ID passwords?
Faster than you could say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. 5-10 seconds. Like, it got to that fast where I can do it just right there.
And so why are you doing this so fast?
So that I can take control and they don't have access to it anymore. You gotta beat the mice to the cheese.
With the passcode, Johnson removed the owner's face from Face ID and enrolled his own, making it easier to gain access to saved passwords to bank apps. This is my phone, right? You've gotten to my settings. Where are you going from here?
So then I go add my face on there, on the Face ID verification. Now when you got your face on there,
If you get your face, if you got the password, the Apple ID, and the Face ID, whoever's phone that was is no longer attached to it at all. You have access to everything. Only thing you can really do at that point, because you're not getting into the actual phone, is trying to hurry up, which is going to be really difficult to do quickly, is log into all your banking accounts. But even then, like a lot of times you're using your phone as the authentication. So you try to log into your Robinhood or your Wells Fargo or your Bank of America, your Chime account, and they're like, well, we sent a password to your phone or we sent it to your email, and he's got everything. I mean, you got to just feel awful at that point. Like, wow, just like naked.
You got the key to everything.
It's pretty opening.
Yeah.
Things that people thought were safe.
Like?
Savings, checkings, cryptocurrency, apps.
Venmo?
Venmo, PayPal, yeah. You don't need face for none of that. That's kind of little money. I'm trying to take as much as I can.
Yeah, oftentimes like Venmos and Cash Apps and stuff, they be having limits and stuff. But when you get to bank transfers, wire transfers and stuff, I mean, depending on how much money you got, you can transfer 10,000, 20,000. If they got 100, they got 100 grand in their checking account, which most people probably don't. But if they do, I mean, you can wire transfer large sums of cash extremely fast.
If Johnson couldn't unlock the apps with his face, he'd look elsewhere on the phone.
I just go through their notes, and password to everything is in there. Social security number, everything.
While victims were sleeping, Johnson would...
We all do that. We all do that. I've gotten better with that as far as not having my information in my notes and stuff like that. But it's really hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff. And that's why you have to make sure that you're secure at the first barrier to entry. Because if people can break that first barrier to entry, then they can continue to keep on breaking and breaking and breaking until they shattered every stage and they're right in the heart of everything, and they can just destroy you in a short amount of time. Like, I mean, just pick up your phone right now and just imagine when you go into your phone, how quick you can rob yourself. It's the same thing.
would be draining money from their bank accounts.
Before 5 a.m., I would have everything transferred out of the bank. But then if some people have like credit line or something, that's when I would go shopping with it. Go get, nice stuff. Go to Nordstrom.
By using Apple Pay?
Yeah, just by beeping. Have my face on there, so all I gotta do is put my face on it and beep. And I can swipe for thousands.
Yeah, you got the Face ID.
Clothes, shoes, all type of stuff. Kids stuff.
There was one more.
Hey, you try to throw kid stuff in the end. You ain't worried about your kids, man. Stop it. Clothes are. He was getting fresh as hell. Then he was like, hold on, let me act like I'm a good person. Kid stuff. You didn't buy your kids nothing. You probably got them. You probably spent, if you spend $1,000 on yourself, you spend like $75 on your kids.
Trick to this scheme. After stealing the money, Johnson would erase the iPhone. Yes, using the passcode and password, and sell it. Was there an average selling price of an iPhone that you would sell?
If it's a iPhone 14 Pro Max with 1 terabyte, I'd probably get like $900.
Johnson said he typically...
This is also the other part where people be knowing that they be buying stolen products. And it's tempting to all of us. If somebody comes up to you and they're like, I got an iPhone 15 Pro Max unlocked, all carriers. Give me $300 right now. The majority of us are going to buy that phone. Don't try to act holier than thou now, because you're looking at this guy and you're like, I would never do that. But you buy his stolen goods. So we're all implicit in this one way or the other. Because everybody's trying to get over on everybody, man. You know this guy stole the phone. If somebody's trying to offer you an iPhone 15 Pro Max for $300 and he like, I just got to get it off, and you check it and you're able to put your SIM card in and there ain't no passcodes on it, you're going to give him the $300. You're going to find a way to get the $300 to give it to him. And you know it's stolen 100%, and you still buy it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's really innocent in any of this. Even the people that he stole it from. So the people that he's robbing for these phones that are crying and playing the victim afterwards, even though they literally were trying to buy drugs from this guy and gave them their password so they can be robbed, would buy a phone from this guy. If he came in the reverse order and he wasn't trying to, he just robbed somebody else, and these are the same drug addicts that are buying drugs from people at the bar, and he was like, hey, I got this iPhone 15 Pro Max. Just give me $250 for it right now. They're going to buy it from him. And that's the same person that he would rob, is the same person that would buy it from him. So, I don't know. This is crazy, y'all.
Look for those iPhone Pros with their telltale 3 cameras. For a 128 gigabyte or 256 gigabyte iPhone Pro or Pro Max, he'd get about $650. For a regular non-Pro iPhone, he'd get $300 to $400.
Probably get
That's
like
about right.
5 to 10 phones a night. So
Damn.
10, 20, 30 phones from Friday to Sunday.
He said he can make up to $20,000 a weekend just from selling the phones. And while
That's
he
very
did steal
believable.
some Android phones,
There's more value to the iPhone.
but here's the kicker. Johnson was using stolen Apple products and their Apple Pay function to buy more Apple products. It was an extensive scheme of profiting off of Apple's vulnerabilities and products.
I go to Target.
These aren't Apple's vulnerabilities. Stop blaming Apple for people giving out their passwords to criminals when they're trying to buy drugs. Just stop it, man. This is not Apple's fault. And the problem is like, if Apple fixes it for these couple of people that are making all these bad decisions, then it makes it a hindrance on everybody else that is doing the right thing and making it much more difficult to use their phone. You have to find a balance of ease of use and security. If you add too much security, then it just makes it too difficult to use. Like, we don't want to go through 5 steps just to get into our phone, because most people are responsible and not out trying to.
Probably get like 3, 4 iPad Pros.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brand new in the pack, like $1,200, $1,300 each. Then I'll sell it with the iPhones.
You were using the Apple products to get cash.
Yeah.
He was giving out deals too.
Do you think...
Hey, you know, if that guy comes up to you and he got a brand new Apple MacBook, Apple iPad Pro in the box, and he got an iPhone for you, and you looking at it, and the retail on it is $2,200, and he like just throw me $850 for it, you like, yo, I'm getting an iPad Pro. What's the biggest one? 12.3, I think. He got an Apple Pencil with it, brand new in the box. Then he got a used iPhone clean, 1 terabyte, and he like just throw me $650. You throw me $650, yeah. You buying that, man? Stop it, man. Y'all don't. I don't want to hear it.
Apple
man.
should
I
be
don't wanna
doing
hear
more?
it.
Yes, I think Apple should do more to protect people. But first, they gotta hire me. I'm just playing.
Well,
Yeah, you need a job though. When you get out of prison, you're gonna need a job. Apple, you gonna hire this guy? He's no use to you though. The only way he's useful is if somebody gives him the password to their phone. Or you're just like, you know, you have zero awareness and somebody's able to look over your shoulder while you're putting your password in and then be able to memorize it, and then they'll take it from you afterwards. They're only taking iPhones from people that they have the password. If they don't have your password, they're not going to take your phone. It's not worth it.
Apple has done more, but now you need to do more too.
There
A
you
week
go.
after I visited Johnson, Apple answered our months of reporting on these crimes with the stolen device protection setting. When it's available in iOS 17.3, it will be off by default. If you don't turn it on, all of Johnson's tricks will still work. If you do turn it on, it adds a line of defense to your phone when you're away from home or work. A thief would need your face or fingerprint scan to change an Apple ID password. Then they'd need to wait an hour, and then again they would need your biometrics. Same goes for adding a new Face ID and disabling Find My iPhone.
See, and this is the problem. because like I get that and it does make it more difficult, but it also irritates people too. If you want to if you're the actual owner and you just want to wipe your phone for whatever reason, or you want to get ready to sell it and you got the seller on the way, and then you're like, cool, all I gotta do is just put my password in and reset it, and you can't do it because of this, and this, and it's just like, it's kind of just annoying, but I guess we have to change the majority for the small minority. I don't know. I guess it is what it is, whatever.
To access safe passwords, a thief would need your biometrics. Still, some apps like Venmo are vulnerable, and using Apple Pay to buy things would still work. Also, don't store your passwords in the Notes app.
Yeah, don't do that. The other problem with this is that there's I'll leave it at this. Oh, let me see what else they got.
Everything that you can ever imagine is in the notes or within the photos.
Plus, you should just create a stronger passcode, one that uses letters and numbers.
I agree
and,
with that.
of course,
Don't give your passcode out. I mean, watch your surroundings. Stay on top of it. That's all.
He just gave you the game right there not to get jacked. Don't give your passcode out. He just said it, man. Y'all just giving him the passcode.
according to the warrant, Johnson's group was thought to have stolen $300,000. Johnson says that the grand total was probably somewhere between $1 and $2 million.
Damn!
Do you ever wish you didn't know this trick?
I mean, I wish I would have not been so greedy and just got what I got and changed my life. I truly am sorry for all the people that I stole from and probably ruined your life.
I don't believe him.
But I just felt like my life was ruined and I had nowhere else to go.
When you get out, gonna forget about this trick?
It's gonna be new tricks out. But I don't want no parts of it.
You lying, bro. You lying, man. You know you gonna be on the new tricks when they get out. You just gonna be a better criminal when you get out of prison, man. And it's all good. Like, you know, you can't tell them that. It's fine. But ain't no way in hell, man, you ain't gonna be trying to figure out what's going on when you get out of prison, man. Just look at his face. Look at his face, man. He definitely gonna do that. It's crazy, man. This is wild, y'all. We're gonna get up out of here. We're gonna get up out of here. Where we at? We're gonna go into Docel Live. Yeah, we're gonna go into Docel Live, y'all. What was my last point I was trying to make? I forgot, y'all. I think that was it. You know what? I'll do it in undirected perspective though. So my last point is this. The problem with adding more security as far as your fingerprints, your eye scan, your face ID, if that's the only way that criminals can get into your phone, they're going to become more violent. So it's kind of like, it's a fine-edged sword, or a double-edged sword, I should say. You can get swindled out of just think about it. If you had two choices, this is going to happen no matter what. A criminal's either going to kidnap you or assault you or physically, violently force you to do something, or they're going to swindle you out of it. So would you rather have a whole bunch of people that are just gullible enough to want to buy drugs, or, you know, they're just all out in the open, putting their password in, and just criminals right over their shoulder, getting their passcode, and then they get their phones taken without violence? Or do you want criminals to understand that the only way that they can get in your phone is to physically force you to give them access? Because now you're talking about criminals going from just doing it as far as, you know, swindling, manipulating, to actually just forcing you with violence to do it, putting a gun to your head. Give me your put your face up to this phone. I want your password. We're going to wait an hour, because now we got to wait an hour till we can get your fine. So now you're held up for 2 hours with a gun to your head, like, until they can get and drain all your bank accounts and all your stuff. And then who knows what they're going to do with you afterwards. After they erase your iPhone to get ready to sell it, they might erase you. So that's why I'm saying it's a double-edged sword. And we're not stopping criminals. They're going to continue to commit crimes. We just seen that guy. He has zero remorse, actually. He's laughing the whole time. So, undirected perspective is this. Be aware of your surroundings. And understand that your security is your password. If you allow somebody to get your password on any device, you're screwed. There's measures that you can take. I'll run through just a couple of them. You can have a separate password manager in your phone for certain apps to where you need a separate password that's different than, so all your crypto accounts, all your banking accounts, your notes app, you can have it to be set up to where even if they have the password to your phone that they would need, or even like your finger, or even if they use your fingerprint or whatever, but I guess they got your fingerprint, then just think of criminals wanting to cut your thumb off. Because, a lot of them, like, you can just use your fingerprint. That's mostly on the Android phones. But what if they just like, you know what, I'm just going to chop your whole damn head off. I mean, it gets kind of sinister and crazy. But there are apps where you can have a password within a password. So a password manager app within the phone. So those are good things to have. But yeah, we just got to be more aware. And this is happening to a small amount of people that are putting themselves in compromising situations, allowing these criminals to get close enough to them to commit these crimes. So, most of us will be cool. Us team, we're usually on the right path, but we always got to make sure that we're aware of these things so it doesn't happen to us, because without the knowledge to begin with, then you're susceptible to anything. So, I think that's all it is. And, this was a really interesting one. I had a lot of fun just kind of researching all of this and looking into it. It's kind of somewhat things that I've already been privy to as far as understanding technology in this way. But it was fun to do this video. So I think we'll leave it at that until the next one. That's all I got. Cell out. Man, this is crazy, y'all. I wonder what Apple's going to do to try to fix this. They're going to make it so hard for us to, just use our phones. This is wild, man.